All right, so this is a trigger warning. This next story is quite tragic. It's quite sensitive, so just be prepared. I was sent this on my Instagram page. A man is charged with taking out, deleting his mother and sisters on Mother's Day. This is the man. On May 12th, around 3:30 p.m., investigators say they received a call to conduct a welfare check at a home on Old Canton Road in Ridgeland, Mississippi. Upon arrival, they found three people deceased in the living room of a home. The three victims suffered pew-pew wounds. The victims were identified as his mother, 76-year-old Ada Thomas Welch, 56-year-old Vicki Renee Welch, and 42-year-old Crystal Lynn Welch. Crystal Welch was an associate clinical professor at the Mississippi College School of Law. On May 13th, around 7:30 a.m., police in Arizona were told about a possible sighting in the Safford area of Ivory Welch III, who allegedly unalived his mother and two sisters. Troopers teamed up with the Greenlee County Sheriff's Office and Clifton Police Department and believed Welch was in the Morenci Clifton area. Just before 10:30 a.m., investigators say they found his vehicle on U.S. Route 191 between Morenci and Clifton and pulled him over to take him into custody. Police said Welch got out of the car and showed that he had a pew-pew, and that is when troopers took him out. No one in law enforcement was hurt. Police are still investigating the motives, but have some working leads. He may have been upset about a funeral and his birthday, which was on Friday. That's what Chief Myers said. The Ridgeland police chief revealed Monday that Welch had a checkered past. Y'all, these Ashgardians, these testerical non-bears are dangerous, and they are showing every day, that nobody is safe. So many people talk about choose better, choose better, choose better. How do you choose this type of thing? This was his sisters and his mother. And why? Why? All right, he said their department had contact with Welch in 2006 for DV against another family member and again in 2012 for assault. So some of these people, you have just got to try to figure out how to get them out of your life forever, because you never know. Because this 2012 is 12 years ago. How do you know when one of these MFers is going to snap off like this? This is tragic, and it's tragic that it happened on Mother's Day. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think about this one. Like, comment, share. Okay, so now I want to talk about job satisfaction. This article came out last week in Axios. Why women in the U.S. are less satisfied with their jobs than men. And they give this graph. This is the share of workers who say they are satisfied with their jobs. Now, as you can see, the trajectory is going up for both men and women. It's just that women are less satisfied with their jobs than men. Okay, let's get into the article. For the seventh consecutive year, women reported being less satisfied with their jobs than men, according to a survey from the Conference Board out this week. Why it matters. Women make up nearly half of the workforce, and employers need to attract, hire, and retain them. State of play. In almost every aspect of work the Conference Board asked about, from pay to quality of leadership and benefits, women were less happy. The biggest divergence were in their feelings about the company bonus plan, opportunities for future growth, and health benefits. The big picture. Considering the longstanding gender gap in pay and other inequities at work, perhaps it's not shocking there's also a difference in the way men and women feel about their jobs. Zoom in. The gap between men and women wasn't very wide and sometimes didn't exist at all in the first few years after the Conference Board started tracking this in 2011. But in 2017, it broadened out. That coincides with the emergence of Me Too, effectively a nationwide feminist consciousness raising. In the wake of the revelations about Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, women started speaking up about discrimination and harassment in the workplace, with stories in the press emerging seemingly every day. Between the lines, with more conversation and attention paid to gender inequality, women were perhaps more likely to see and recognize the sexism they had previously written off. Women are also more likely to be juggling family and caretaking responsibilities too, also dragging down workplace satisfaction. The satisfaction gap widened out again in 2020 when schools and daycares were closed and many women were taking on even more of this work. Even now, women are working longer hours outside their paying jobs on housework and childcare. The Department of Labor's Deputy Director, Tiffany Boyman, told Axios recently, pointing to data from the American Time Use Survey. This is definitely making them feel squeezed. Now, we already know that women are overwhelmed. Women are saying that. Women are speaking these things. That's one of the reasons why women are opting out of becoming mothers. That's one of the reasons why women do not get remarried. And is one of the reasons why some women are saying that they do not want to live with a man because they do end up taking on more responsibilities. Also, this is very telling because we already know that work from home does benefit women to be able to stay in the workforce. However, and despite all of this, women overwhelmingly are in the workforce. Now, last week, we were talking about the men because even despite women not feeling that satisfied, you're not seeing women being talked about because they are falling out of the workforce because they're dissatisfied. But you are seeing that with our male counterparts. Because just last week, this came out in Newsweek. Rising number of men don't want to work. And they don't want to work because they are not feeling that satisfied. And they're like, there's no point in even being here anymore. I did this article last week. You can find that on both my TikTok and my YouTube pages. But just a couple of things. While the early 1950s saw around 96% of working age men between 25 and 54 working full or part time jobs, that proportion has now moved just to 86%, according to the BLS. And as fewer men financially support themselves, there are long-reaching economic and societal implications because who is carrying the load? The women. And that brings it back to the other article. That's another reason why women are not tapping out. That's the one reason why women are stressed out and not as satisfied, probably. The U.S. has a major issue of prime age men giving up and permanently exiting the labor force. Now, I'm bringing this part up, even though I did this already, because even if women are slightly dissatisfied, they're not writing about us dropping out of the workforce. And then finally, I want to bring this up. We all know that we've been in a recession. There was a recession of 2008. We had the pandemic. Everybody is stressed out. Okay, so after dropping to 78% in 2020, male workforce participation essentially recovered to pre pandemic times now, but it still remains far below the times of the 1950s. So, like I said before, what are these men doing? These men are, they have to be living off of some woman, either their mother or some romantic partner, or they're couch surfing, or they're becoming part of the growing homeless population. I don't know. But what I do know is they're not writing about women in this situation. Women are not quitting their jobs because women have to take care of ourselves and other people. And if there are children involved, we're not just dropping out because we realize we have mouths to feed. Anyways, I just wanted to bring this up because, yes, Axios wrote about us, not being as satisfied, but men are 65%, women are at 60. So it's not like it's that big of a difference. But regardless, women are still overwhelmingly working. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Now, I want to talk about a pervasive issue in the military. All right, now this is being reported on in multiple news outlets. Reports of SAs in the U.S. military drop for the first time in nearly a decade. Reports of SA in the U.S. military dropped for the first time in nearly a decade, according to a Pentagon report released on Thursday, breaking what had been an upward trend in recent years. A confidential survey also found the number of service members who experienced some type of unwanted sexual contact dropped nearly 20%, a reduction which left the Pentagon cautiously optimistic that its efforts to target SA and harassment are beginning to show results. Now, look at these numbers. 7,266 service members reported an SA in 2023, a decrease from 7,378. Now, 378 minus 266, that's 100 and what, 12? 112. 112 less than the year before. So it's not a humongous drop. It says, although the change is small, it's the first time the Defense Department has seen a decrease in the number of reports since 2015. Meanwhile, an estimated 29,061 service members experienced some type of unwanted sex contact, a dramatic decrease from an estimated 35,875 in 2021. These estimates come from a confidential survey conducted every 2 years to understand the wider prevalence of sexual harassment and SA in the military. The decrease in the estimated prevalence of unwanted contact was seen across all military services to varying degrees. The Pentagon acknowledged it is not completely clear why the numbers decreased. While it's impossible for us to know exactly why we're seeing this decrease in SA prevalence, we are cautiously optimistic that the department's unprecedented investment is having an impact, particularly when it comes to our focus on prevention and building a healthy climate, said Beth Foster, executive director of the Pentagon's Office of Force Resiliency. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin made tackling what he called the scourge of SA one of his top priorities when he came into the Pentagon at the beginning of the Biden administration. In a recorded message for SA Awareness and Prevention Month, Austin made it clear his longstanding position. The only acceptable number of SAs is 0, he said late last month. In 2021, Austin stood up an independent review commission to look at how best to address SA and harassment within the military, ultimately taking major steps that fundamentally change how the military handles such cases. That work is starting to bend the curve, Foster said. As of last December, SA cases are now tried outside of the chain of command, a move that critics of the military justice system had long advocated. Instead, they are handled by new offices of special trial counsel within the services, a system designed to give more confidence for victims reporting SA. In fiscal year 2024, Austin committed more than $1 billion on efforts to reduce SA and harassment, nearly doubling funding from recent years, Foster said. The Pentagon believes the investment will help with recruiting and military readiness. We still have more to do, Austin said in his message. Austin approved 82 recommendations from the Independent Review Commission on SA and Prevention, directing the Defense Department to implement the changes by fiscal year 2028. Now, for the people that are in the military or who have experienced something, do you think that this is even possible to change the climate of SA in the military, the good old boys system? Do you think that something is actually going to change and help the people that have been victims or victimized and then probably re-victimized within the military ranks? Please weigh in. Let me know what you think about this story and these supposed results. Is, the numbers are not that impressive to me, but what are your thoughts on this? Jump in the comments, let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.